Did you win the early game, but you always struggle to convert that into wins? If that's the case, this video might help you. I was coaching a student today and we were talking about how he tends to run around while having no impact. We've watched the game and I realized while this is completely normal and common as well, we have to split that into two situations. In one case, running around doing nothing is perfectly fine, while in another this is completely game losing. And what makes the difference between both options is map possession. This is a term that I took from football or soccer for American viewers. What that basically means, the amount of possession you have on the map will usually mean the amount of games you will win. Notice how most good teams in football have better ball possession. That doesn't mean you can't win the game while you have less of it, but it gives you a better chance. And what the fuck am I talking about? If you start the game of Dota, you roughly have access to 50% of the map. Both sides, Radiant and Dire, have same amount of camps, waves, and so on. But as the game goes, you slowly start to be able to farm enemy camps, denying them possession of them, and control more area of the map than you were able to just 5 minutes ago. That basically means enemies get less space to farm, and then your gold advantage is supposed to get bigger. You can control areas in few different ways. First of all, the easiest one is having your wave under enemy tower. Every camp that is behind the wave is not only not safe for the enemies, as they usually will have no information if a hero is there, but also not efficient. If enemy wave is under your tower, if you don't take it quickly, that will mean you will lose out on the farm. The second option is to have vision there. Observer wards provide you vision, so while you don't deny enemies from the farm that is under it, you have really convenient way to punish the heroes that are there. The third option is to be there with your hero. As long as you're strong enough to kill enemies, you being somewhere means you control this area. And this is where the difference between running around stupidly and smartly comes into the play. If you control area that is gateway to enemy farm and you're a support, it's perfectly fine for you to stand in a place and do nothing, or farm a camp around your core. As long as you're getting stronger and you're unable to approach the high ground for various reasons, like enemy has a good high ground defense, or you simply have no push heroes, this is a good idea. If you have 70% of the map to yourselves and you farm decent amount of it, sometimes the right play is to do nothing and just wait for enemies to fuck it up. However, and this is the important part, if enemies actually go out and die, make sure your map movements respond properly. You want to control this area indeed, but that means you play far away from things like Roshan or Tormentor. After you've killed them, the right play would be to go for either Rosh or Tormentor and then smoke back into the same place as soon as you get it. That means in the downtime where enemies were unable to leave the base, as they are dead, you are getting things on the map you would be unlikely to get if they are alive, because that would mean you give enemies chance to take back the area. In that case, you get to kill them, take the objective that is far away, then perhaps catch them off guard as soon as they realize that they have a small window to regain the portion of the map. If you have a low amount of map possession, but somehow you manage to win the fight, you need to ask yourself a simple question. Can you take objectives? If you can, then do it. However, if it's very hard, it's a good idea to split as much as you can and just fix all the lanes. This not only gives you more map possession, but also gives you a lot of gold. The worst thing you can do after winning a fight is just chill around the place you won the fight and do nothing, and that doesn't fix any problems for you, and the map state after that is basically the same. In this case, Lina had the travels and could have TP'd bot to fix the lane, then have them off cooldown as soon as enemies respawn. If you have more map possession for most of the game, you will slowly strangle your enemies to a point where they A. are struggling to get farm, B. are getting tilted by the fact they want to farm as they are weak, but they have no space to do so. That will force them to do suboptimal moves like smoking somewhere into a place where you have vision. But the enemy carry has PL and he's farming a lot, and he's very strong. Yes, that might be a problem. But you need to ask yourself, is the enemy carry so strong he's gonna solo win the game against 5 decently farmed heroes? and it's likely that two of them have at least same amount of net worth as him. If that's the case, maybe you gank him instead. But usually, if your team is farming 70% of the map, it doesn't really matter if enemies are farming 30%, as your gold advantage is gonna get bigger. As long as you do it efficiently and you close the map properly with vision and movements, you will be fine. While this is actually obvious for most players, and especially for people that have been watching this video so far, I just want to say it out loud. If you have advantage, the most important thing is to use that to deny enemies from farming. That means farming in aggressive places, taking their space. The worst thing you can do as farmed core is farm back camps, as you don't really use your strength. If you are strong, and especially if you have a good timing like ultimate or Aegis, farm aggressively. Even if you won't fight in the near future, instead of farming passively, you do the same thing, but you deny enemies gold and map control that way. A very important part of map control is showing your hero. Imagine this scenario. You have control of an area, but enemies have no vision. They suspect you are 5 there, and for that reason they won't take the fight. You can farm the back camps then, if enemies don't see you, but the moment you will show on the wave with no TP, enemies will know and they will try to fight. That means you can only show in different places if you have TP scroll available. That means running to a place is way better than TPing there, even though it might be less efficient, but your team won't get caught somewhere with you being unable to help. You don't have to farm the whole map, that's the point. Some of the heroes like Furior and Underlord allow you to connect through the whole map, while the others like Wop or Aim allow you to move up quickly. But by farming in enemy area, you are likely denying them any farm or forcing them to go into position they can farm but aren't safe, your jungles or cutting waves. The trick is to be able to connect quickly to area that your team is playing around, via travel boots, quick TP scroll, or just simply getting there by movement. Just make sure it won't take you 30 seconds. If you aren't available in the fight, that might be the difference between your team losing and winning it. Vision is a very important part of this. In this case, you really want to have good vision in aggressive areas. If we assume nobody is gonna get out of their side of the map, having cliff wards and defending them is a good way to win the game. It's also fine to place ops close to enemy camps closest to the base, as that's the only likely place the enemy cores will go. This allows you to get pickoffs as well, and that will likely mean you can approach high ground. Don't be passive. If you are strong and you have good vision, make sure you take a good fight. Usually the problem is enemies are unlikely to do much, but if they smoke out and you find that, take the fight. If you control the map for a decent amount of time, you should have gold advantage at this point, and that means you should be able to win the fights easily. Notice how I'm talking about different things and showing you examples of the same movement from the 3 different perspectives. Everyone is doing their job well, and that's how you win the game. Map control is something you will learn along the way. Just think about it like you think about the football field. If you are allowed to play on opponent's side, that will mean you are more likely to score. While the analogy isn't perfect by any means, it gives you a perspective how you can look at it. Thanks for watching. If you like this kind of content, subscribe to the channel. Like the video and join our Discord as it's growing every day. See you!